Greetings everyone, this is Lightstar. We are going to do a really fun activation today from a particular race of beings that I have done before, but I am actually going to talk a little bit more about them because there are some questions that came in from my channel, from emails and different ways that people have been sending in questions about this race to know more. I received a comment a long time ago from somebody who wanted to know about the Phyla race, and this was after I did a actually YouTube activation, light language activation, from this race. So I already have that in my light language activations that I've done, which you can all go look at the playlists on my YouTube channel for those of you who want to go back and see that one or listen to that one and watch it. That one actually got a lot of comments in terms of like people wanting to know more about the Phyla people. And so I thought I'd do another one because it keeps coming up, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that resonate with this, but yet there's not a lot of information out there on the internet, and I don't really go searching for it. I just really get my own download of information. And these were, I want to say, a lesser known type of beings out in our in the system here, but they're not really from our solar system. And so when people were asking me, where are the Phyla from? My answer is that they're outside of this solar system. So the beings that we know of in this particular solar system that I've done a lot of YouTube activations here for, like the Arcturians and the Pleiadians and the Andromedans and even the Orions and beings of that nature that we know are more within our vicinity. We're more familiar with them, Lyran, Syrian, that kind of thing. But there are a lot of races that are outside of our normal, MO of starseed, star beings, that I want to talk about this particular race a little more and share what I received as far as the download of information that I get about their life, their whereabouts, and who they are and all that. Now, I shared a little bit of that on the previous activation that is about the Phyla, and it was a Phyla confidence activation. This one is going to be a little, continuation. I will be doing a activation light language for you in a little bit, but first I want to share some information about them, okay? So first of all, like I said, what I was receiving is that these beings are from outside of our solar system. They don't really reside within this, but this is when I'm talking way long ago. They have been in our solar system now, but I'm talking about from their originality, where they originated from, in other words. Now, I can't tell you the exactly specific, like sector, 54 of the whatever out in space somewhere. But what I can tell you is that they are from very far away, and yet they also have an affinity for our solar system. So what I was receiving was basically these beings are, they were actually invaded, just like a lot of the wars that happen. We know of, like the reptilians, the wars, the Lyran wars, the Orion wars. We know of all these wars that happened, right? But they kind of came outside of this whole system at first. So they had a very, I want to say, pure life in that sense, that they weren't really having to deal with these particular wars until they did, because the factions that were the negative races were definitely going around and conquering many of the other races, or trying to conquer the races. So there was some disputes and wars that came into contact. I was receiving that there was about 3 different races that the Phyla beings were interacting with in a, let's just call it a more negative way, because they were after the beings that would come in and conquer, were wanting their land. They wanted where they were. They wanted the area, the sector of location that they were in. And so they were basically invaded, and they were of a very peaceful nature, okay? The Phyla beings were very peaceful, and they were very loving beings, but they actually turned, and they had a lot of connections with the land and the species of animals that was there, different types of animals that were here, but they were more connected with nature, and the beings on the planet as well were all connected with each other. There was a very strong community within their culture. They're very, very connected with community and other beings. It's not like they were loners or, off on their own. They definitely were very connected, and I want to say almost like that kind of hive mind that is more on the positive way of the hive mind, not the negative way of control and all of that. They actually had a way of communicating and creating with a certain type of hive mind that would allow them to expand and open and share and manifest things in their world that they really wanted and that were of a positive nature. So because they were living in this particular land that was sought after, let's just say, or they were kind of off the radar at first, but then when they got spotted by like I said, 3 different races that were after them, one of them, yes, being the reptilian, but there was 2 other races that I really have never heard of that were also after their particular land. So they began to have some, obviously, wartime over this land, and they were learning, a lot of different types of, self-defense, I guess is the best way to say it, is in self-defense of their land and their people. And so they really had to do some struggling and fighting, and they weren't really used to this, but they got to be very good at it. So that's the interesting thing, is that they were more of like a peaceful nature type of beings, but they kind of learned this sort of conquering, aggressive kind of energy that was enforced upon them by having to survive and having to fend for themselves in that way, that they became very strong and very almost conquering themselves. Okay, and I say that in a beautiful way, because their energy becomes a little bit more strong, a little more aggressive in that way. Over time, that's how it became. So by the time they've came into our solar system, basically looking for a new place to live, okay? They were very fiery, and they were very assertive, and they knew what they wanted. They knew exactly what they're looking for. And so they came in here with a loving heart, but also a very, very specific type of energy that really was, like I said, very, very bold, very courageous, very fiery, and very active. And yet they still retained that level of wanting communication, wanting connection with people, with their land, with a new land that they've become, I want to say, almost searching for. Okay, so that's why that I feel in my way, that in my information that I received, that I don't see them, as being and residing in this particular solar system for eons of time or anything like that. I feel like it's kind of recently they've been looking for new land, they've been looking for a new place. And in recently, I don't mean like as in yesterday. I'm talking this could be like, quite a bit of time in between of them looking. I'm just saying that this is not like, span of time is completely different than what we have a concept of. But they're definitely very playful beings as well. I find them to be very playful. They like to play, they like to have fun, they like to be in community and to express themselves and enjoy life, okay? But they just have a little stronger energy that comes forth from what they've had to endure, okay? Sometimes these races, like the Orions, in a lot of ways in that context, have had to, well, some of the Orions actually got, I say, twisted and contorted into and forced into other negatively based factions because they were sort of enslaved and that kind of thing as well. I didn't feel that as much with the Phyla, where they had like turned on, to the negative or dark side, if you will. They just got stronger and more chutzpah, if you want to say, in their over time and over their lineage. That's what's happened with them. So they became a bit more cohesive and a bit more aggressive in that way. But I want to say there was some distortion in their field as well, okay? They had a lot of healing that they had to do and that they are doing. So they're engaged in healing, but I want to say it's more like they want to heal we'll say the ancestors, They want to heal the lineage of ancestors that had kind of crossed over, been killed or whatnot through that time of the struggle, and they want to make their band or their tribe, if you will, even stronger. So they have this push for passion. They're super passionate, and they have a drive to really anchor something very solid and something very tangible on a land and clear the lineage of their past. So that's what I'm getting from the Phyla people, what they're about, what their intentions are. I don't get any intention or feeling of them wanting to harm or hurt. In other words, they are more defensive in their reactions. But again, they feel like they've gotten to be very good and very adept at different types of warring and different types of being in wartime, different types of defense. And so they kind of train their people in, to be, I guess you'd call that being on the offense, right? Where it's like you're always kind of looking around the other shoulder at what's going to happen. And you become a little bit more strengthened in that way, but also a little less open. I want to say that too. It's a little less trusting. Okay, that's the word we want. Trusting. So the Phyla people are not as trusting as some of the others. Like they just don't, come into the energy field and they're going to check you out. They're going to want to know, are you worthy? Is this worthy? So if you relate to this Phyla energy, then yes, you might be a little bit skeptical. You might be a little on the sidelines. You wait to see what happens. You wait to check somebody out. You give them a long period of time before you decide to go into business or go into connection or anything. This is kind of the energy of the Phyla people. But very beautiful souls, like I said, they come from a very, very long lineage and a very, very far place from our world. And so they don't always look at things exactly like we do. So they feel more along the lines of outsiders, that they want to have a place, but they don't exactly feel that this is their home. So they're basically going to be setting up home somewhere. Now, I want to say there is a certain area of even Earth, okay, that is of particular more interest to them, and I feel that they have had some of the Phyla people in that particular region of our Earth here, okay, and it's kind of in the region of Mongolia, China, Mongolia, in that region of the world is where I feel their presence has been, and where they sort of like that area. Why? I don't know necessarily. The land itself has some kind of particular ancient type of energy on it. The people that live in that area kind of more, I want to say, align with perhaps their energies a little bit stronger. But there's something about that particular region that they like. So that's just some of the little tidbits of information about the Phyla beings. Now, again, why they come here, again, kind of explain that about what they're looking for as far as land. They're not coming to take over. They just want to have a place to be, okay, energetically speaking. So So that is the background. I do want to say they are extremely challenged with, conflicted with their own process and what they're doing. They're going through this healing process, and it's very, I want to say, I feel like it's a challenge for them to interact necessarily with humans. So I don't feel a lot of people are being connected with the Phyla people, although I do feel there is some connection with some people that are being connected with them. Now, just like I said before, their energy is a bit standoffish, and so they don't readily just come run up. I mean, it's kind of like the Pleiadians are super, all over the place. Like, there's a lot of people that are connecting with Pleiadians, even Sirians and Andromedans and Arcturians. A little bit more approachable, I want to say, but not so much on the Phyla. They're a bit, we talked about their aggressiveness, but in their nature, they're actually a little bit shy in terms of just racing up to us. Not only they're going to kind of size us up and make sure that we're okay and we're trustworthy, but they also, by nature, by their true nature, before they really started to get more on the aggressive side of things, we're actually very much into being peaceful and very calm and almost very just soothing. Their nature was very much into soothing and calming and loving. So they're not super engaging with other races. I mean, can you blame them? They've had like several different races and species of beings trying to kind of attack them and come after their land and just not want them. And so it's sort of like the redheaded stepchild that just doesn't feel like, they're kind of loved. I mean, they're much more advanced than we are. Let's just say they're not as primitive as I'm making them out to be, but I'm actually just trying to personify some of this energy of them so that you can understand some of the feelings behind where they're coming from. And yet they are a very, I want to say, superior race than humans, because we're kind of like low on the totem pole here. But hey, let's face it, we're the babies of the camp here. And but they still have this very beautiful purity about them that I just love. So I just wanted to share that with you guys before I did an activation. Now the activation I'm going to do is going to overall, I'm just giving you the overall scope here, is going to overall be of, again, a more assertive nature. The energy that comes through is more assertive. They're basically wanting to share their energy with those of you that will resonate with it, okay? That will understand and get the message that they are bringing, okay? And the message is one of love, yes, absolutely, one of love and one of unity. And they're trying to help people to remember that connection that you have with Earth, with nature, with one another, since they are very community oriented. So I'm getting the messages also helping you to reconnect with your own community and your own tribe, the people that you feel most connected to. And they understand, they're saying that there's an understanding of the people, us, and humans, feeling lost, feeling alone, feeling like you don't have a place in this world, and that you don't matter, or that you are just kind of an outsider. So they want to give some love and some comfort in that way to those feelings, and those of you who actually can resonate with that, because they resonate with that very much so from everything we've just talked about. So they want to share this sort of activation with you all to give you that sort of groundedness and that strength to keep going, to not give up, to know that there is always hope in this world and beyond and everywhere, and that they love the interactions that they are going to be having. They are going to do more of this, but like I said, at a slow pace. So those of you who resonate with this or want to connect, just know that it may take some time, but coming and connecting with their energies and being in that loving space, they can actually really help in a lot of ways for our human race. So with that said, let's get started on the activation. So again, with you all watching, and please, please, please just listen with that open heart, keeping that heart open and not addressing this with the mind, okay? I want to put that mind off to the side and just experience. Now, I don't know what's going to happen for all of you. Sometimes you just feel very peaceful. Sometimes it's calming. Some of you get chills. Some of you get activated in many different ways. So there's no possible way for me to know how you're all getting activated, except for actually when you actually start commenting in this the sections below to these videos, that I start to realize, oh, okay, that's how it's happening for everybody, and it's all different. So some of you might get a message, some of you might get whatever comes through. Just allow it to be whatever it is. Don't judge, don't criticize, don't anything. Just allow it to be. Open up the channels for your higher self to come in to also help you to interpreting the message. And those of you that resonate with the Phyla energy may feel something a lot more stronger and specific and more in alignment. And this is also going to link up perhaps the connections within you guys to connect with each other. Meaning those of you that identify with the Phyla and to be connecting with your members of the community, seeming as though there's not as many of them, of y'all here. There are, but not as many as like the Pleiadians in numbers, knowing that you have to do a little due diligence in trying to connect with your family here. So there we go. With that said, I'm just going to close my eyes. You guys can close your eyes or you can keep it open, whatever you like, and enjoy. Ginas al aje, zubaji gevine adala, zundaria jandagi, jumba jev azad, zuga jana dale, zudea jana mageve anazodogo jane, zugovajane, zambar aria zogu raga jan, zog, zudajin is zubaga vin, su dojegim ageleg. Zendale agujana amazegev, zug jan al azemeg. Zundale azogujani abajini egeviana dalak. Zendaria azodogujini egeveni adala azomagash. Zuguriana dari azodogujini adaragam avag. Zoma ajigi zona adari ejigudi emazogora mader. Dage amazari azugujini iduzoguni jimbiadari azandadiragas. Zugujimi izebia, zodoria janageve neadurukuma, gajan, zobaya, zudi enduzagav, ejon, zodoguma evigiag, lazamage. Zugojene ide ozam oguvana avenez, zan eneja. Zugubia ambe ben ezubag gar ezudogujen zuba handi egej anad ariag zundari agujun omagi ver evenasag ejem zudagujen magevenadege soakami ivege jumar zanda de anamogaje inguria maga avumba Zumba jijene zaga ne ogana zobayajan. Sugumi eve evendeg zana aleja gumak gajnoba de uzumba. Ve ugujo go lag aneza. Za anag dun aleg jen emeve ezeg amaji egele azagan. Subaji avag en izutadosh zagari Mariazo, Barejana, Avagia, Daniazog, Jamagia Zomar, Zubejigive Andaza Galeaj, Jandaliaga, Gambova. So everyone just breathe that energy in and breathe that activation deep within. whatever again wants to come forth, however it wants to come for you, or whatever message, just allow yourself to receive, to feel, to know, to hear, to see, whatever wants to come forth. Again, very assertive energy, very strong, but very loving, and yet very stern in some ways. I feel like there was some message coming through as a warning in some ways for some of you to really anchor yourself in and to really allow yourself to feel down here and to be consciously of who you are in connection with here on the planet, and to always put your, I got that there was a lot saying about always to be putting your love and your attention on those who are your loved ones, the ones that are here that you love. Never forget that you love them. Never forget to tell them that you love them and to show them and to express that, as that is a very important thing in all of our lives, actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and hope that some of you that had some questions about Phyla, that was helpful in getting some energetic frequencies and for some background of what I've received from my stream. Now, you probably won't find much on the internet, although I have never looked. I just know that, there's from other people just saying there's not a lot on the internet. But so again, I just usually get my information from downloads. I don't really go searching for it on the internet, but hopefully this helps in giving some of you some background, at least from what I've received about them and their loving energy. So if you guys want to work with me further on, you can go check out all my session work on my website, which is lightstarcreations.com. And there you will find all of my artwork that you can purchase in many different formats, my sessions that I provide for people, and also trying to connect them with their soul origins, and also helping with different types of light language activations that I have. If you would like to look around on my light language page, I have types of light language audio custom files that I can produce specifically for you, as well as a lot of different goodies that I have, some packages. I have my light language foundations audio class that you can also look into, where you will learn to open up your own channels to speak light language, as well as receiving healing, very powerful light language chakra clearings and healing that I provide, that couples the light language information with healing and also helping to open up your channels. It's a very powerful class that I put on. You can take that in the privacy of your own home. It's all audio, and it's really, really awesome. So thanks you guys for watching. I will be back as always with some good stuff. I've got some good things coming up, and so stay tuned, and also join me on my channel here if you would like to be a part of this expression here. I co-create and connect with me on my YouTube channel, or also on my Facebook page. You can go check there, or you can send me a message from my website, and or you can leave a comment here and sharing your experiences on what this did for you today. So thanks again for watching. I send you love from the galactics, the elementals, and the fairies, and the angels, all of them, everybody, all sorts of beings, from the star beings, from beyond. Everybody sends you lots of love, and keep going. You guys are doing great. Lots of love. Blessings now. Bye.